All right, hi, welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual program, Target Individual Experience. So, just got in the house and uh, was in the kitchen. Remember how I talk about my daughter got hit in the head twice today by this boy in her class, um, with a basketball? So, I'm in the kitchen, I'm warming up a beef patty in the microwave, and all of a sudden, my head just turned to the left. And I'm looking at a little um, in a basketball. What do you call it? Net, basketball net, with a little basketball right stuck on the net. And I was like, yeah, this is, when I talk about this stuff, they may have you guys fooled into believing this is spiritual or whatever, whatever. It is not. Okay, we're talking about highly classified technology being used in a way to which to manipulate people, right? To deceive them, okay? And to particularly for black people, because black people, like I said, we are the most religious people in America, right? And to use that technology to make us believe that, you know, that it's some God or whatever. What is called, what Robert J. Lipton called mystical manipulation. Okay? And I was talking about Darren Brown. If you go look at Darren Brown, you know, uh, these people are expert in psychology and psychological manipulation, and they need you to believe in their false narrative, right? That way, you don't see the reality, right? That way, you don't become conscious. You don't elevate your consciousness into what is called the Christ consciousness. Because see, the Christ consciousness is actually your consciousness. It's not a physical, it's not a physical person in ancient time that was sent by God and died or whatever, forgive you your sins. No, your Christ consciousness is when you come into that leadership position within your mind and you look around you and you see things is happening. And again, if you go and read the the Judean War, I said Judean War because they changed the name to Jewish, right? But it's not Jewish war. There was never any Jewish war, right? There was the Judean War against the Romans, right? The people back then were named Judean. It wasn't even a J, right? So it would pronounce Udean, right? So the Udean Wars, okay? There was no J, right? It was they were either using when the translation is the U and the I, right? So Udeans, just like you have Isus, which becomes Jesus, like Zeus, right? So it went from Zeus to Isus, and then it became Jesus. All right. So again, you must understand it. This is why understanding history and learning about history, real history, is important. Right. And what they've done is that they've taken uh, some truth from history, right, to create a narrative, right, with characters that never existed. Okay. So you got to understand that. So yeah, so this is what to do. And usually when things like that happen in school with my daughter, I've told her many times to let me know right away so I can address it, right? But she didn't. She didn't tell me anything until we got in the house, and then that was when she told me. So tomorrow I have to go to the school, and she was like, "Oh, the boy was suspended. Not suspended. He can't go to the gym for 2 weeks." Like, okay, you're not calling his parents to say, "Hey, this is what your child did, and you need to speak to him about doing that, particularly to a girl." But like I said, they when they cannot manipulate me to do what they want me to do anymore, they will, attack. They will attack my kids, my children. You know, these people, nothing change. They don't change. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said the fallacy of them trying to create this false narrative, this false behavioral change. And again, it's the change of behavior from to be negative, right? Because they want to take you off of the chessboard, right? Because they see you as important, even though, particularly in the black community, we don't look at each other with any sort of importance, right? We think that we have to be a celebrity to be important. We think that we have to have money to be important, right? To be a politician to be important. Okay? But not understanding that if you look at our past leaders, they were never people of wealth. They were never people of celebrity status, though they gain uh, a sort of recognition, as being uh, black leaders. Okay, not celebrities. But today we don't see any of that. Today what we see is celebrities, and they'll tell you, when you look at who these white media bring on television and talk about black leadership, it's celebrities, rappers. They're giving us our leaders, right? Whereas before, our leaders were created within our community, right? So yeah, go figure. Anyhow, another reason why I'm doing this. So early on, as I was leaving Pam's house, I was talking to somebody outside, and she came, and I was so into the conversation that she said hi. I said hi to her, and again, she's doing this for sure, right? Because when me and her we're leaving at the same time, let's say she has somewhere to go, and I'm going home or what have you, and I'm leaving. When we get in the elevator or we get outside, you know, she acts as if she doesn't know me, right? So I want you guys to understand the narrative that they try to play. Okay. Again, these people are very deceptive and they're very manipulative, and they have some of our people engaging in being very deceptive and very manipulative also for money, for a position at the job, for whatever. See, when they understand that they cannot use money to control you, when they cannot use threat to control you, right? That is when they know that you as an individual, that they cannot use their same tactics on you anymore, right? So, they're going to continue with the threats. They're going to continue doing the same thing, and I'm going to continue to expose them until people really start to understand and see what's going on. Okay? And like I said, uh, the guy earlier, he's like, "Oh, you're a teacher." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Listen, they always come with that, all of a sudden now it's like, yeah, you must be a teacher or something like that, right? Or this and that. They know I'm not, right? And again, but that's how they like to mock you, because you see how they use us against each other is that for those of us who understand the truth and know the truth, right? We are looked at as disdain. We are mocked. We are made fun of, right? While the people believing the lies are also being made fun of, but not by each other, but by the white racists, the oppressors. All right? And I hear black people talk about, "Oh, we have no oppressors today." I'm like, okay, okay, we have no oppressors, right? That's why you can't speak the truth and none of the social media platform, except for maybe TikTok. You see, they're trying to get control of TikTok, but they can't get control of TikTok. They want to get control of TikTok because they want to control the narrative. See, when another entity, another country owns a platform that is just as big as those here in America, and they cannot, America cannot spread its propaganda like it does on Facebook and Instagram, on YouTube, right? Now they're trying to shut TikTok down, okay, because they want to say, well, TikTok is being funded by the Chinese government. You don't think Facebook was funded by the American government? You don't think Google is funded by the American government? Hmm? When you look at the amount of subsidies corporations in America, American corporations get, they are also partly funded by the American government. But they have you believing that it's wrong if another country invests in startups in their country, where America invests in startups in our country all the time. All the time. They give money to financial institution. They give money to academic institution. Go and look. Then I just talk about how DARPA, right, funded a program at MIT. Was it MIT or Harvard? To create a new, or what they say is a new way to send data, right? I mean, all this shit is public information, but people don't even want to listen to this shit. It's like, come on. But then they'll have you hating another company that's in another country like China, who receive funding from the Chinese government. I understand the way white supremacy work. I understand their mindset, right? The white European racists. I understand their mindset. They have to control everything, right? The world is beholden to the West financial institution, right? They can freeze another country's asset for whatever reason they want to conjure up, right? Now, they talk about fairness. How fair is that? That's not fairness. This is why they have Gaddafi killed. You got to understand what's going on, all right? So this is how they exert their power on countries that don't agree with their policy. So now they're going to sanction. You know, look what happened in Nigeria with the anti LGBT bill, right? That country is say, hey, we have people who are that in our country. We don't bother them, right? But that is not who we are as a country, right? We don't promote those things in our schools. We don't promote those things in our society, and it's their right. Okay, why don't the U.S. say the same thing to Saudi Arabia? Hmm? Ask yourself that. Why don't the U.S. say the same thing to Saudi Arabia, to Turkey? All right, but yet, if it's an African country, like I said, they don't respect us as black people. They laugh in our face, they spit in our face, they lie in our face, even though we know the truth. Right, and we don't do anything. Why? Because we are being psychologically manipulated. Our emotions, when it comes to certain things, when it comes to dealing with white people and the crimes that they commit against us, that our emotions are suppressed. One, because the image of our God look like them. Two, because they keep black people in a state of poverty. Even black people in countries in Africa that have some of the most resources on the planet. They should be some of the richest countries, but they're not. And you have good white people who come on TV and tell you that, yeah, this is what the West have been doing to Africa. And yet you'll hear these white racists talk about why come African countries can't get it together? Well, how can African countries get it together when the West, the United States, France, Britain, keep undermining their progress? Same thing what they do in our community in America. They undermine us in a myriad of ways. So we have to become conscious of what is happening. And we also have to make every effort, every single day, to get up, to remain conscious, despite of the attacks that's going to happen to us. Because, their slogan is go woke or go broke. They're telling you. Right? They'll let you know. Or you want to find out the truth? And I'm not talking about the whole Republican slogan. I'm talking about liberals. Right? We've seen how they ousted our professors in the universities for speaking the truth, for saying that civilization began in Africa, right? They demonize our professors, our scholars. And it isn't until their scientists, their anthropologists, right? Their geneticists say that civilization and human beings started in Africa. Now all of a sudden we believe it. That's why I said that no one can make me question the great Sheikh Anta Diop. No one can make me question the great John Henry Clark, the great Yosef Ben Jacobin, the great Isa, Asa Hilliard, who's still alive today, right? And many more. The great Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, the great Dr. Amos Wilson, right? The great uh, Dr. Ray Higgins, and many more who are still alive today. When we know that these people have told us lies over and over again. Right? But because we are under this economic yoke that they have us under, we have no economic power to protect ourselves and each other. You think the black elites is gonna, when things get bad, they're gonna say, okay, well, let's create jobs? No, they're holding on to their billions, to their tens of millions and hundreds of millions, right? But these are the people that you look up to. These are the people that you worship, all right? The last of our true revolutionary leader, and I say the last because after him there will be no more. Because not only have black people have helped to destroy their revolutionary leaders, but they've made it to where there will never be any more revolutionary leaders. All right? And as the great revolutionary leader, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, have said, that we have to awaken our minds to the truth. Stop burying our head in the sand and in the clouds, waiting for a savior. All right? These people will not give us equality, but the illusion of equality, and that will be taken away because guess what? You've helped them participate in developing technology to control our minds. You've helped them to say it was okay to microchip another black person or any other black person or any white person or any Asian person, right? Because you believe more in the villainization as opposed to being critical thinkers and understanding what's going on. And so what they have done to you as a group, my people, is to put you in what is called a catch-22. Because if they can make you do this to one of your own, what makes you think they're not going to do it to you or your children or your family or your friends? And you won't be able to say anything about it because you was complicit in doing it to somebody else. So, again, quote from Malcolm X: "You've been hoodwinked." Like I said, I'm not doing this for me only. Yeah, I'm doing it for me, but I'm also doing it for you. I'm doing it for my kids. I'm doing it for future generations. This is bigger than me. Like I said, I'm not going to allow these people to try to manipulate me, to self-isolate so they can think that, oh, well, yeah, he self-isolates, so what we say about him is true. Knowing full well they've engaged in covert warfare and covert psychological warfare. But when they have let me put it like this, okay? The person stabbing you in the back with a knife, with your eyes is closed, okay? and then pulls that knife out, comes in front of you. Now your eyes is open and say, hey, this person stabbed me in the back, and I'm the one that took the knife out to help you. What do you think that does to your mind? And how do you think that you're going to look at that person? That's the best way I can put it. Anyhow, talk to you guys in the next video.